It's Rockwell's Rant, live from the quarry. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the quarry. Now, lots to get through tonight. Huge week of SAFL football, huge week. And I'm going to go straight in, because there's a lot to get through. There's always a lot to get through, but there's more this week than ever before. There's lots of contributions. Thank you all for your contributions. Bit of review gear. I'm going to pick one game from each division and just go with them, and let's just talk about the results. Now, firstly, in the Prem, we had Clive beating Lady Boys in a massive relegation 8-pointer. It was massive, and he won by about 130 points. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, how can Lady Boys be so shithouse? Well, that's what I was thinking, and you know what? I found out why, and I refer you to an article from the Australian newspaper. ADF man robbed of laptop by Ladyboy. The Australian Defence Force is investigating a potential breach of national security after a naval officer in Bangkok was robbed of his Defence Department computer by a Ladyboy he brought back to his hotel room night at night. Ladyboy, you've been Bangkok. Banging cock. Unbelievable, Ladyboys. Also, police have reported that in another incident across town, being a busy Ladyboy, at the McCure Hotel on the same night, a Ladyboy drugged a Korean client, but he was stopped and he left the hotel with the Korean's belongings. Well, maybe that's why you were shit. You were in a bloody lockup in Bangkok. I knew I'd get to the bottom of the reason you're so bad this year, and I found it. Yes. Next game. Championship. Psycho beat me by 153 points. Well, you think I was a happy boy about that? And just to rub it in, Psycho has undertaken a little bit of correspondence this week. Title, Out of the Shadows, Dear Rockwell. Not dear to you, Psycho. I'm not sure you know who I am, although after this round of SAFL action, you probably know me vaguely. I'm the guy that dropped your DAX this week to go 4-1 the last 5. Now that's moving and shaking if ever I seen it. If ever I seen an English class, maybe. My name is Psycho, and I have a team I lamely call the squad. Got that right. Although at the time it did have a ring to it. What time? Last century. You may not be familiar with me because for some time now I have lived in the shadows of the somewhat small, if not wide and hairy shadow of my brother Boggy and his team of Heros. But I think the time is nigh to step out and come forth for a tilt at the Premiership. This week I'm going to continue my run against Love Buddy Pork Pies, my man, and was wondering if I could bend him over. Actually move on. Do you have any tips that might help me in my push for the Premiership? Yes, I do. Stop being amateurish. Stop being amateurish. And when you put Gazza on the bench, don't leave Liam Anthony as captain because he won't get 118 every week. That really hurt me. I can't believe that Psycho was no good at all. But anyway, that's my advice to get promotion. But you won't get promoted, so don't even worry about it. Now on to the nationwide. Now the game I'm going to focus on here is K-Mac has beaten Tracy's Tiger Cubs by 78 points. Now I've been in touch with the militia. And they're just saying they're going to keep a lid on things, right? They're not getting carried away at all with anything down at the barracks. They're just going to take it 1 week at a time. Just focus on what's coming next week. They're all business down at the barracks. There's no celebrations whatsoever. She's going to focus on her trip to the ceremony. She's going to try and take Randlebone down. But that's what I heard from the militia. There's absolutely nothing, not getting carried away at all. But speaking of Randlebone, I thought, Randlebone, you have a very strange home ground name. So I'm going to do some research on some of our famous, names and home grounds throughout the SAFL. So the first one is the Père Lachaise Cemetery in France, right? Now, apparently this cemetery is the largest cemetery in the city of Paris in France, which is very topical because it happens to be Bastille Day for all you uncultured folk out there. Rockwell's cultured. Now, apparently it's the largest cemetery because that's where you need a lot of room to bury your whole team because it's been rubbish. You've just pulled out of the relegation zone, and you know what? Normally I give people a little bit of a curry when they pull out of the relegation zone, But I'm happy for you, Randall Bone, because you know who went down there? Mexican Eddie Betts. And I'll tell you what, it's looking pretty likely the boy will stay there. Always have to get my little ex-Mexican Eddie Betts move in. Anyway, the next one we move on to is Quod erat demonstratum, which is the Angry Beast's home ground. Now, when I translate that to English, it was which was to be demonstrated. Now, the question that I ask is what was to be demonstrated? What? 120-point win over man with no trades? Bingo? You got 730. Don't like the demonstration. Don't like it. Anyway, doesn't quite sit well with me. And I'm the man who runs his show. Inspired by Vitus. What's a Vitus, you might ask? The Vitus is an armour-clad knight on horseback holding an old sword and shield. And it is on a red back. It's a white knight on the red back, and it's the Lithuanian coat of arms. Now, Article 15 of the Constitution of Lithuania, approved by a national referendum in 1992, stipulates the coat of arms of the state shall be a white Vitus on a red field. Well, I also looked up Article 16 of the Constitution of Lithuania, and it says, thou shalt not trade Brad Ottens for Josh Fraser in round 12 of the SAFL. But you did it. You broke the Constitution. You broke it. I can't believe you held on to Brad Ottens for all this time, then you bring in a weak-kneed bastard like Fraser. Unbelievable, Vitus. I thought you were a rival of mine. I thought it. But I'm not so sure anymore. But that leads me to the one person who doesn't have a home ground in the whole of the SAFL. The Crazy Cats. Now, I was sitting there at work today and I was just thinking, how do you come up with a name for the Crazy Cats for a home ground? And I was actually reminded, I heard a song on the radio. And it doesn't actually sound like that, right? But for those of you who know the famous Machine Gun Fellatio song, we're going down, 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 down to Pussy Town. And that's the new name for the Crazy Cats. Lock it in there. Write it up in that little thing you've got at the front there, Mr. Sheer Arrogance. Crazy Cats play Pussy Town. And I'll tell you what, you can have a lot of fun down there, but they can also whip you. You've got to be careful when you go down there. I'll just leave that alone because that could get me in a lot of trouble. I think the missus was still around somewhere. Anyway, now because I got so much, Wandana, I got your lovely work during this week. I'm going to have to leave it a carryover next week because I've got some news in brief. News in brief, too many pork pies confirms trade trouble. Too many pork pies has got trade trouble. That just brings joy to my heart. I love you, but I want to get promoted. And if it has to be you that stays down there, fine, don't care. I reckon you've got 2 left. And you've just lost Jedley Adcock. Dean Cox is losing his cocks with a lot of green type jokes. You're in a lot of strife. Naughty boy. Not too many cows in the abattoir these days. Bar 104 Panthers has no trades left. He scored 1,600 last week. Oh, upgrade. Oh shit, that's right, you can't. Wowee. Chubba's in hiding in Noosa as relegation odds firm. Now, Chubba has no Goddard, Lockyer, Corns or Broughton in the back line. He has 3 trades left. He's got Cozzy and Vickery in the ruck. Has to bring in H-Mac for Cox as one of his last trades. He's only got 3 left. I think he's going to go downtown. Down. First, SAFL history, premiership to relegation, unbelievable stuff. What was my last bit on the news? That's all for the news. Now, I can't believe 10 minutes goes so quickly. I'm up to 9:24. Wandana, if I did your poem in 30 seconds, it wouldn't have done it justice because it's just beautiful. It actually brought a tear to my eye. Oh, and just a last bit. On Psycho's letter, he tells me to wash my hair or wear a hat. Apologies, Psycho. The hat's there. So anyway, this is Rockwar signing off. Hope you've enjoyed the rant again for this week. And I'm just going to scrape in by, a good 5 seconds. I'm back on YouTube, baby. See you next week.